Hey there, abiding fam, and welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new, welcome to another bullet journal setup. I had so much fun creating these spreads for myself and for you guys, and I am so excited to share this butterfly theme with you all. But first, I want to do a quick flip through of my February setup so we can relive the glory that was that cafe-inspired theme. I really enjoyed doing that theme. And I each month have been creating a weekly setup in under 10 minutes to share the theme with you guys just a little bit more. So if you're interested in checking out those videos, I will link the playlist for you. A new thing I've also been trying this year is doing a month in review at the end of every month. So for February, I'm doing the same basic setup that I did in January. I'm writing out February in review and then just highlighting a few things that I want to remember from the month. So doing things like books I read, movies I watched, things like memories made, and then also looking forward as well and thinking about things that I want to improve. Obviously, I've only been doing this month in review for the past 2 months in 2019, but I'm already really enjoying it and think it's going to be super special to have these to look back on when the year is over. Okay, so now for the fun part, we're gonna move into March, and I always start out with a cover page. This month, I'm using my Arteza pencils to sketch out a butterfly, and I am doing this very lightly, starting out with a huge X in the center, and then drawing a horizontal line through the center of that X. But this line is only extending about 3/4 of the way to the edge of where the ends of the X are, if that makes sense. And then I'm obviously going in with the pencil and connecting those lines in the shape of a butterfly, but it just helps to have those beginning lines as a point of reference. And then you can go ahead and connect those. I really recommend using an example image to base this off of. And then I'm just going in with the little detail work. Now that I have my sketch, I'm going to use these new Arteza watercolors. These are actually gouache, and I've never used gouache before. It's basically like a mix between watercolor and acrylic paint, so it is a little bit more opaque than watercolor is. And what I love about these ones is they're actually metallic, so they have a really pretty sheen, which I thought would be perfect for butterfly wings. And Arteza was kind enough to send me these products for me to use and review. And I have to say, guys, I'm already obsessed with these paints. I can't recommend them enough, and if you're interested, I'll have them linked down below. I also got these awesome eraser pencils, which is super helpful when you're doing really tight lines. For example, there, I had some pencil marks that I wanted to erase because they were a little bit too dark, and I didn't think my paint was going to cover it up. But I had the paint there next to it, and so having that really fine point of an eraser helped me be able to pinpoint the part that I wanted to erase without touching the paint or erasing anything that I didn't want to. So I really have been loving using those eraser pencils as well. Now all I have to do is basically do kind of paint by numbers and just go in each of those little lines that I had sketched out beforehand and fill it with the different paints that I'm using. I'm using kind of this pretty orange and then also this really golden yellow color as well. Now I'm going to go in with a black acrylic. This is just a basic Artist Loft black paint. Same one that I actually used in my January setup, doing that huge night scene for the cover page. So bringing that back in here, and you can see how just that black paint absolutely brings the whole butterfly to life. It makes such a difference, and you can just go around all of those little details that you had painted, fill it in, and just like that, you have a butterfly. And I wanted to use a finer brush. These are my Mimic brushes, and I'm using that now to do these finer details in this part of the wing. And once again, I just use a reference image to kind of help me with this, but the great thing about drawing is it doesn't have to be exact. You can totally make up your own design within the butterfly as well, and just have fun with it and play. That's the whole point of doing art in your bullet journal, is to have fun and play. Speaking of playing, I thought it would be fun to experiment with the idea of actually cutting out the right side of the wing. To make my cuts precise, I'm using an X-Acto knife, and so I obviously want to protect the other pages in my bullet journal as well as my tabletop, and so I wanted to use a craft mat, and I was kindly sent these amazing craft mats from Eco Pico Art. And what I love about these guys is that they are eco-friendly and non-toxic. So they actually were created by a father whose son has asthma, and he wanted to create a mat for his son that would be non-toxic, that he could use and would be contributing to a healthier environment. And they've done such a great job with these mats, and they're self-healing. I didn't even have any cut marks on the mat after finishing this. And what I love about them is that they're reversible, so you can change up the colors. And they have 3 different sizes, ranging from this big green one, which is their medium size, and then they also have obviously the smaller blue one. And then they have a huge one that my mom actually stole from me and currently has in her craft room because it was even too big for my desk. So I love these mats. I highly recommend them. I do have them linked down below if you're interested or in the market for a mat. It is really important as creators. I know I'm a messy creator, especially to protect our tabletops. And so I love having a mat that makes that possible, especially if you're somebody who doesn't really have a craft room. You can just pull out your mat and then sit at your dining table or anywhere and just take your crafting where best suits you. So obviously I just did the back of that butterfly wing so that it kind of has, like I said, that 3D effect by having it cut out. It looks like it's about to fly right off the page, and I just love the finished look. Now I'm going to do a little quote for the month, and that is this really great quote that I just found on Pinterest, because where else are you going to find a quote? And it just says, "She chose herself. She chose freedom." And that's when her wings appeared. And then I just stuck my goals under that wing, and I love the finished product of this page, guys. I think it looks so great, and even though it looks really complicated, it's actually a very simple design, and then you're just cutting out the wing. And I did take quite a bit of time, I'll admit, to paint the butterfly, but honestly, I just needed that art time. I needed that art therapy so badly in that moment, and so it was actually really wonderful to sit down and just paint for an hour and make that butterfly. So it's okay to do art in your bullet journal if it's serving you. If you're doing it just for the gram, just because you think you should, then don't stress yourself out with trying to incorporate art in your bullet journal. But if you really enjoy it, if art is actually stress relief for you, as it was for me in that case, sometimes it's not. Sometimes art I feel like I'm doing for somebody else. But in that case, I was fully doing it for me and just really enjoying the process. And in those cases, I say go for it. Do art in your bullet journal, or be minimalist if that is really what you need in the moment. So it's okay to switch things up depending on the season you're in and the time you have and what you want out of that spread. So obviously, guys, I have moved on to my monthly setup in terms of the calendar layout, and I'm doing a pretty basic one for this month, especially since I had a more complicated cover page. And for this, I'm going to bring in my printables from Patreon, and these are available on the $6 tier along with over 30 other printables, so lots of things over there for $6. And there's also mini printables that have a lot of these printables on it as well, and that one is $2. So I hope you guys will consider checking out Patreon and supporting my YouTube endeavors over there and getting all of that awesome bonus content that you can then recreate these spreads and use the printables in your bullet journal or in your creative journal, however you like to use them. So I just put a few of those little printables down. I print them out on sticker paper now, thanks to one of you guys and your pro tip. And so it makes it super easy. I just cut it out and then stick it down. And then I wrote March in that little banner that I created, and I wanted to basically just use one highlight color with the black and white design, and that is going to be this orange. And so I'm just gonna keep it very simple throughout and then just bring in little pops of orange to play off of the butterflies. So now I'm doing really basic line work, doing these flowers. There is one of these types of flowers on the printable, but I wanted to have kind of a whole garden down here at the bottom, so I figured I would draw them out and also show you guys kind of the drawing process as well. And so for this, it's really sketchy and just have fun with it and be very loose in your lines. But for this, I'm basically just doing one central stem, and then from that you can throw on a few extra little stems, really loose, light lines, and then the flowers are very simple, a very loose circle, it's more sketchy, and then using these petals kind of with a triangular shape, and I put typically 5 of them, sometimes 4. I like to switch it up because flowers aren't all uniform, so you want to also switch up whether some are bloomed or not, and just play around with that as well. And you can add in leaves. And then once you're happy with your flowers, you can go in and do some extra little details, putting lines towards the center and then also at the ends. So as you can see there, and then I also put in a few silhouettes of butterflies as well, of course, because we have a butterfly theme. And then there is the finished monthly calendar. Now we're going to do a really fun spread. So last month I did a workout tracker, but I'm switching it up a little bit this month by having a butterfly that I can color in to mark every day that I work out. So I'm creating, obviously, once again, the detail work within the butterfly, but I was very strategic when drawing those details so that there are actually 31, there we go, that's how many days are in March, 31 different little details that I can color in with my orange marker for any day that I work out. So hopefully a good portion of them will be filled in. I don't expect all of them to be. I'm not somebody who works out every day, but trying to get fit for the wedding, so I definitely want to have a good amount of those filled in. And then I'm doing the same setup that I did in February, where I'm going to have the date, the length of the workout, the type of workout, my heart rate, and then a place for comments regarding, how I felt and everything. And then at the bottom, I just put one of the quotes from the printable, which says, "Just when the caterpillar thought her life was over, she began to fly." And I thought that was very fitting for a workout tracker, because there are many times when I work out and I feel like my life is over, and then I feel great afterwards and feel like I can fly and do anything. So I really love that page and I'm excited to fill it out in March. And then on the right, I'm doing a habit tracking page for some other habits I want to be trying to improve on this month. And I'm doing the block calendar type of habit tracker where there's a little calendar for every habit that I'm going to be tracking. And I obviously put in one of the printables again, which it's amazing how just slapping down a sticker, in this case it's a printable sticker that you can print at home for yourself, really just makes a page, and that one absolutely does for this page. And then I just wrote in habits with some brush lettering, and I decided to bring in the sort of flag look that I had over on the monthly calendar layout, and that's where I'm going to write in each of the habits, bringing in that orange once again, just little pops. I think picking one color sometimes, especially if you have more detailed doodles and things going on, can be a really nice way to bring cohesion to your different spreads within a month, as well as just amp everything up a little bit without being overdone. And so there are my finished trackers for this month. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you track your workouts and how, and what habits you're tracking this month. Alright fam, so I have one last spread for you guys, and that of course is my first weekly spread of the month. I kept this one quite simple with my printables, and then also bringing in my favorite number stencil, which I always have linked down below, along with all of the products used in my videos when I can find them. And I also link them all in my Amazon affiliate shop as well. I did put a little bit of washi, which broke the orange a little bit, but that's okay because the page was separating a little bit from the bullet journal. But I then went in, like I said, with my number stencil and wrote in all of those numbers. Guys, the key to a pretty page is a number stencil. It is amazing how you cannot do anything else but use a number stencil for your weekly and it's going to look good. I just love that look. And then I kept it really simple with a nice elongated font for the days of the week. And then, of course, ended with the printables to tie everything together. And that is everything for my March bullet journal setup, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in seeing more videos from me, including getting to see the weekly in under 10 minutes later this month, be sure to join our abiding fam by hitting that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get notified when that video and all of my videos are released. Of course, if you want these printables, you can check out my Patreon for access to all of those printables and much more bonus content, including more than 20 exclusive patron-only videos. So be sure to check that out, guys, and also check out those Eco Pico craft mats and the Arteza gouache and other products. I love Arteza and highly recommend them. I'll have those links down below. As always, guys, thank you for watching and for your support. Can't wait to see you in future videos. Until then, I hope your month is full of abiding joy, love, and of course, creativity.